guys, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. We actually just came back from Walt Disney World and we went to the Halloween party on August 26th. It definitely didn't go as planned, and I'll tell you more details about our party. But before we get into the video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you found it helpful, and don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video. So in this video we'll talk about, is it worth it? Is it worth to go to the Halloween party? I will also share helpful tips, and towards the end of this video I will tell you how our party went and everything that happened and everything that didn't happen. So be sure to stick around all the way to the end. The number one question I always get asked by family, friends, and people in the community, is it worth it? And my answer is always, absolutely, it's worth it. But it's worth for me and my family. For you and your family, it could be a whole different situation. So let's discuss that a little bit. The Halloween party is an extra ticketed event and it happens on select nights. Many of the dates are already sold out, but I think there are still some September dates and some October dates left. So if you want to go ahead and purchase those tickets as soon as possible. On the day of your party, you can actually enter the park at 4 p.m. So you could actually make your way to Magic Kingdom, probably say around 3:15, 3:30, considering how you're getting to Magic Kingdom. That will give you enough time, and you'll probably be one of the first people in the party, but of course there'll be like 1,000 other people, but they move you guys really quick. The official party actually starts at 7 p.m. and lasts until midnight. I do believe that the stage show, one of the last stage shows, is just at midnight, so it kind of like rolls over just a few minutes after midnight. So, you know, you can get a few extra minutes in the park. If you're looking to buy park exclusive merch, you cannot purchase it anytime before 7 o'clock. So if you go to the Emporium at 4 p.m., 5, 6, there's nothing available to be purchased. So you literally have to come back at 7 o'clock. So that's also something to consider. The party usually has special characters that you could meet. The lines are usually ridiculous. There is lots of trick-or-treating stations. Some rides, not all, literally just like a handful, have Halloween overlay. We'll talk about them also in just a little bit. There's some specialty food and snacks, and then there are shows in like the hub area. So those shows include the stage show, which is the Sanderson sisters. There is the fireworks show, and then there is Boo to You parade. All of these things, minus the fireworks, happen multiple times throughout the night. Very important to grab one of these as you're entering the party. This will tell you everything you need to know. Every ride, every character, every location, all the times. Everything. Everything is here. So super important. There's so many things to do and there's just never enough time. So you really have to pick and choose what you're going to do. You also have to take into consideration the ages of your children and whether your children have a stroller or not. Also have to take into consideration the weather that nobody can control. Before you even get to the party, the number one advice that I can give you is please don't waste your time booking a sit-down dining during the Halloween party. There's just not enough time, and you're going to waste good hour to hour and a half, possibly 2 hours of the party time. You don't want to do that, of course, unless you do. So my advice is have a nice meal before you ever get to the park. My other advice is bring lots of snacks for your children. My other advice is have something ready for you in the hotel, like a sandwich or maybe some snacks when you come back, because if you stay all the way to the end, by the time you get back to your resort, everything will be closed. It's going to be a complete ghost town, and if you're hungry, you're out of luck. If you have younger children, and I'm speaking from experience from parties before, you want to do certain things as soon as possible. If you want to watch the parade, if you want to watch the show, you should be watching the very first ones, because if your kids are cranky later on in the evening, if they fall asleep, can't do anything. It gets really, really difficult. If you have older children or children who could actually stay up all the way, or if you have multiple people in your family, so if one child falls asleep in a stroller, you can kind of pass the kid off to grandma or grandpa or aunt and uncle, go and do rides and other things. Once your child falls asleep, if you had plans to go to roller coasters or high-speed rides, it's just going to be difficult because now you're carrying a sleeping child everywhere. And I've done that. It's not fun, especially if it's hot and if it's raining. So my next tip before you ever get to the park, check the weather forecast and be very realistic. It rains just about every single day, once or twice a day in Florida. And it's very likely that you will have a washout during your party, or it's just gonna rain on and off like it did for hours. I talk about rain gear, ponchos, get the good ponchos. Umbrellas, waterproof shoes or shoes that dry off easily, change of clothes for you or for your children. If you really get caught in heavy rain, just bring everything, and don't forget the stroller covers. My next tip is, before you get to the park, have a conversation with your entire family party and figure out what is the most important things for each person. And when you get to the park, you should be trying to accomplish those things first. So if you want to see the fireworks, you have to make sure you get there real early to save your seat. If you want to see the shows, if you want to do the rides, if you want to meet characters, have a plan. And the next advice is make sure that you're not running from one side of the park to the next. Is try to build that plan for each side of the park. Say, try to put your plans to one side of the park, because if you're going to be running from one side to the other, back and forth, you're going to waste a lot of valuable time, and you don't want to do that. So if someone says they want to go on the Little Mermaid, somebody says they want to do Buzz and Speedway, and they want to meet Buzz, and they want to go to the dance party, and then someone else wants to meet Jasmine and Aladdin, and they want to ride the magic carpet and pirates, I would group those things together and in sections and tackle one at a time. So then you finish with magic carpets, meeting Jasmine and Aladdin, going to pirates. Now you can go to the other side of the park and you can meet Buzz, you can meet Stitch, you can do the dance party, and you can do the rides on that part of the park. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. The next tip I have, figure out if you want to have any of the specialty snacks that they have during the party. I will be very honest, they're very Instagrammable, but I don't know, I would say 90% of the time they don't taste good. So save your time and save your money and just skip that altogether. Honestly, unless you really like super sweet stuff, it's just gross. Sorry Disney, but that's the truth. It's just gross. You really have to have a plan and be very real with what you can and cannot accomplish, because it's just not possible to do it all. If you want to see the fireworks, the parade, the shows, you have to get to those places early. You have to get a good spot. I'll give you an example of what could go wrong so you can kind of be prepared. If you want to watch the Sanderson sisters very close to the hub and then turn around and watch the first parade, if all goes well with the weather. If you have small kids and if you have kids in the stroller, I will be very real with you. If you're getting the spot by the curb so you can turn around to watch the parade, your children most likely from that area will not be able to see the Sanderson sisters show. And I'll tell you why. Our little people are very little and short, especially our little people who are in the strollers. They will not be able to see anything once the adults, the very much rude adults, stand in front of you, and then those same adults will pick up their children and put them on a shoulder. So it's something to consider, so that way you are not holding your spot for an hour or 40 minutes or an hour and a half thinking you have the best possible spot for you and your kids, and somebody comes along who's you know, really tall, and then they put a child on their shoulder and you're frustrated because you can't see anything. It happens, and it happens all the time, and I don't understand why people put children on their shoulder. It just blocks the view for the person right behind them, and for, you know, 10, 20 people behind them. It happens all the time. Don't put your kids on the shoulder. Please, just, you can hold them up. It's definitely something to consider. And, you know, if you want to see the show, you have to be a little bit more back, but then once you're too far out, again, if you have little kids, they might not be able to see much. Worth to wait an hour, hour and a half for a spot, and you might not have the best view in the end. That's for you to decide, but definitely keep what I said in mind. Now, as far as trick-or-treating, there's going to be multiple trick-or-treating stations, and again, unless you have small children and unless you're planning to leave early, I say let the first hour go by. Don't do any trick-or-treating, because those lines are going to get so light as the night goes on. There's going to be absolutely no wait, and if you go trick-or-treating closer and closer to the closing of the park, you're just gonna get handfuls of candy. So it's definitely something to consider. Now, there are a couple of rides that have overlays, and I believe during this party it was Space Mountain, which the overlay is darkness. It's pitch black. If you've been on Space Mountain during the regular time and you see like little beam of light here and there, well, now it's completely pitch black. So that's one overlay. Now, Laugh Floor is the second overlay, trick-or-treating location, but you are allowed to go into the theater and have a seat, and every, I don't know, 10-15 minutes the Monsters Inc. characters pop up and they interact with people, and it's just a lot of fun. The other location is Pirates, and you actually have real pirates walking around, and they're just like chatting with people, and it is so fun. The last one is the Teacups. They have a really fun overlay. I personally don't go on Teacups because as I've gotten older I get really dizzy, but they have a really spooky overlay with lots of different lights and music and projections, so it's really fun. Characters, again, this is something that you have to kind of make a decision on. Are you going to see the characters? Are you just looking to meet one character, or you want to meet all of the characters that are at the party? Because the lines do get really long, and a lot of your precious time, you know, is just gone. For one person it's a waste of time, for another person it's, you know, a valuable time spent. So again, it all depends on you. If you want to see the top characters that everyone wants to see, which is usually Jack and Sally and the characters from the Pooh, you should try to get in line before 7 o'clock. So that should be your strategy, so that way you could get in and get out. I've heard people say that the line to meet Jack and Sally could be anywhere from 1 to like 2.5 hours. If you have a good weather party and there is no chance for any delays or cancellations to any of the shows, parades, fireworks, then I would recommend seeing the second parade. I would recommend seeing the second or even the third Sanderson Sisters show, because a lot of people, you'll still be surprised, but a lot of people will leave. People who have those small children who are there way past their bedtime, lots of crankiness, lots of sleepy children, a lot of people will leave. So if you're staying there the whole night and the weather is good, no possibility of any cancellations, I say do the second parade and do the last Sanderson Sisters show. Now, if you want to see the fireworks and you really want to see Jack Skellington, and he's amazing, you really have to have a spot somewhere in the hub. Now, again, it's something to consider because you are wasting precious time, because you really need probably a good hour to get a good spot. But then you still might not have a good spot if somebody who's really tall comes in front of you and you can't see Jack anymore. I'm going to tell you kind of how our party day went. And it definitely didn't go as expected, but we kind of adjusted and readjusted our plans as we went. And in the end, I think we had an incredible night, and it was just absolutely 100% worth it. All right, so our plan was to get to the park at exactly 4 o'clock. And the plan was that we were going to leave Pop Century at around 3 o'clock, maybe 3:15 the latest. We were going to get into our car and drive to Magic Kingdom. 2:30, a storm rolls in, and it's like a monsoon. It was raining, like you couldn't even see in front of you. It was raining so hard. You know, 3 o'clock came, and 4 o'clock came, and 5 o'clock came, and it was downpour. Like, I think if we were going to leave the resort and get to the car, we would already be 100% drenched. I think about 6 o'clock comes around and it's still raining. Like, it's raining like not a monsoon, but it's definitely heavy rain. So I tell my kids at this point, you know what, we have to go, because it's 6 o'clock. By the time everything happens, it'll probably be 7, maybe a little bit after 7 before we get to the park. So we have to start heading out. Usually always do preferred parking, especially when the park is open very late and you're planning to be there, or there's a party, whether it's Christmas party or Halloween party. Always get preferred parking because you're so much closer to the Ticket and Transportation Center. Very close. We get there and the girl is like, sorry, we don't have any preferred parking available at the moment because of the weather conditions and lightning in the area, so our staff is not working, or the parking area is closed, and you just have to kind of park on your own. I will definitely tell you, this was a first for me. I did not know that this happens. Honestly, logically, it makes sense, right? But when you don't know, you don't know. There's nobody directing anybody. People were going the wrong direction. It was a mess. We probably wasted a good 35 minutes in the parking lot with all of the traffic, with all the people leaving, people coming, and people just going up and down in the wrong direction trying to find a spot. Went to the Emporium just to see what they had because we already shopped. They didn't have any other Halloween merchandise that I didn't already see, and obviously the party merchandise wasn't going to be out until after 7 o'clock. 7 or after 7. Went, got our goodie bags. It was raining, it was drizzling pretty heavy. We're giving out the goodie bags, and I think the first candy, full-size candy that they give you in Land Terrace, like where they have the dessert parties, that's where they were giving out the candies because the cast members were standing there trying to hide from the rain. So one of the number one things that we wanted to do during the party was go to all the rides, minus the Teacups that had the overlay, and our number one ride was, or show I should say, was the Laugh Floor at Monsters Inc. But we did want to see the show before the Halloween party, but unfortunately because of the rain and we got there a little bit later, the show was already closed and people were already lining up for the trick-or-treating because it happens in the Laugh Floor, and then you could sit if you want to watch the show. Had it there, and my kids actually had a change of costumes, so they were Mike and Sully, and we got in there and it was so amazing. I think I have footage, I will enter it somewhere over here. First time ever my kids actually got to interact with the monsters, and baby Andrew actually even had a mic brought up to him, but he was just being so silly. But it was such a highlight, like it was so worth it, absolutely worth it. We loved it. Once we got done with that, we pretty much ended up doing all the rides that we wanted to do in the area where we were. So we did Buzz, we did People Mover, we did Speedway, we did Space Mountain, and we did Laugh Floor before we were gonna start heading out the other way. I should mention at this point in time that aside from watching the shows, of course, the number one thing for us is rides. And many people could disagree, but we truly enjoy the ride. Have an opportunity to have pretty much every single ride be a walk-on, we take that opportunity and we run with it. We love it. We had plans that we were gonna watch the second parade and we were gonna watch the fireworks somewhere from the side. We decided we weren't gonna watch the stage show because of the whole situation with having smaller kids, being in a stroller, potentially having somebody come and block your view, and your kids not really getting the full view and, you know, the full opportunity to see the show. We made the executive decision that it was going to be a waste of time for us. We should just do trick-or-treating and take advantage of all the rides. We didn't watch the parade because we were having too much fun riding rides, but we did catch the parade a little bit on our way to certain rides. So we did see the ghosts, which are my favorite, and the grave diggers, which are my second favorite. It was amazing. And if you were at the party, the pirate ship derailed or broke or whatever, and it just got stuck right around the Hall of Presidents. Yes, so if you were there, you were there. You know, if you know, you know. Okay, so these are the rides that we went on. Space Mountain, Laugh Floor, Buzz, People Mover, Speedway, Barnstormer like 5 times, Little Mermaid, Mine Train 3 times, Pooh, Haunted Mansion twice, Peter Pan, Big Thunder, Pirates, amazing, and Small World. So we did so much. Ended up getting a little bit hungry. So when we did get there, we ended up going to, I think it's Cosmic Ray, Cosmic something, and they got French fries, so they kind of snacked a little bit on that, but it was also because it was raining. So I was like, okay, let's grab something to eat. We're not doing a full sit down, something light. They ate, and then they also kind of got to dance around, so it wasn't a complete waste of time. So we kind of like utilized our time there. And to fireworks, we actually were going to Big Thunder, and I do have footage and I'll try to insert it here somewhere. We actually stopped and watched the fireworks on the way to Big Thunder Mountain. The view, amazing, amazing. We got to see so many beautiful fireworks. It was just lovely. And I do have to say, I know some people want to be right there, and it's also great, and I would have loved to see Jack, because the way they present Jack Skellington, it's unbelievable. But if you're not right there in the front, and if you have small kids, it could just become an issue, and I just don't want to be frustrated. I don't want to be mad at anybody, and I think we're at, you know, kind of at this place in our lives where we've seen a handful of fireworks shows that sometimes we can make the executive decision not to watch them right in front of the castle and just watch them somewhere from the side or from the back of the castle, because they're still gorgeous and it is still okay, and you don't have to watch them in front of the castle. The Big Thunder, we rode it twice, then we got off and we headed to Pirates, and that was an amazing experience. There was a pirate there again. I do have footage. I will try to insert it here. She was interacting with Aiden. Oh my goodness. It was so cute and it was so funny, and it was definitely worth it. After Pirates, we went and did Mine Train, and we were cutting close because the park was about to be closed. So we made a decision, and we've done it before. We went to It's a Small World. I think that ride is literally like 15 minutes long, like 12 to 15 minutes long. So it put us time frame where a lot of people already left the park. That's where we were located. We took it very nice and slow. We walked around the castle by the carousel. We took lots of great pictures. We actually even caught a little bit of the last show, and we just kind of hung around in the Sleepy Hollow area, and we waited for thousands of people to leave before we got to the front of the castle, and it was literally like a handful of people. But I do have to say, if you're planning to leave a little bit later, letting the majority of the crowds leave, ready. You're not going to be back in your resort, probably not close to like 1 o'clock in the morning or after 1. I think by the time we got to our resort, I think it was like 1:30. So it's definitely a long night. Great night. We made the decisions along the way because it was drizzling, because the park was still busy. Like, don't go there thinking you're gonna have an empty park. It was definitely busy, but when you take into consideration that those thousands of people that are watching the parade, the shows, the fireworks, that's when the park is like yours. It's like empty. So, you know, it's definitely worth it for me. Just do what feels right for you. If you want to spend your time meeting characters, trick-or-treating and watching the shows, then that's what you do. If you want to trick-or-treat and ride all the rides, then that's what you do. You know, if you just want to walk around, trick-or-treat and buy all the specialty snacks that they sell and do your park exclusive shopping, then that's what you do. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, be sure to leave it down in the comments below, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.